Hey loves, welcome back to Day Spills Tea. I, of course, am the lovely Day, and I missed y'all. I hope y'all missed me too. I'm sorry I wasn't here last week, but today I do want to talk to you about love and marriage, Huntsville. Ugh, that dang on Tiffany and Louis. Like, they are the worst. Where did y'all find them? Anyways, before we jump all the way into the episode, I need to know what y'all think about my lipstick. I'm trying something new. This is Dangerously in Love by Loving My Beauty, and I've talked to y'all about them before. I'm so crazy about they have these new fall colors, and I've been trying them out almost every day. I was very scared of this one, but I think I'm feeling it. Anyway, so let's go ahead and jump into the episode. Before we do, though, go ahead and hit the thumbs up button. Show me a little bit of love. Leave some comments down below. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't done that already. And if you do subscribe, hit the little bell so that way you get notified when I post a new video. So the show opens up with Kimmy basically kind of filling Maurice in about their girls' night. And so she's telling him how Tiffany sat up there and brought up whatever Louis told her that Marceau told him and the guys about Tisha surprising them with the marital counseling. And I didn't get to talk to y'all about it last week, but when that happened, I was like, what kind of dude is Louis? So apparently he's equally as shady. We'll go with shady. He's equally as shady as his wife, Tiffany. Never has my husband come home from a guy's night and told me what other fellas said about their wives. Never happened. Never happened. I don't imagine that my brothers or other male friends have a guy's night and then go home and talk to their wives about things that the other guys said about their wives or their girlfriends. And if they did, then there would be an understanding that it stays right there. You don't go back to the group the very next day and repeat what you heard, Tiffany. Like, I just do not understand these people, why they want to cause drama so bad. Anyway, so Kimmy also tells him about how Destiny was kind of getting live with Tiffany and she threatened to drag her. And so then they show, first of all, I don't think Destiny was wrong. I don't blame her because I'm not feeling Tiffany. And, you know, Destiny was telling Melody that she feels like her and Tiffany never really got to hash things out because Melody forever jumping in and being the bodyguard. And I think she's absolutely right. They don't get to go ahead and have that head-to-head that they need to have and get it squared away and let each other know how to deal with each other, because Melody is constantly jumping in to defend Tiffany because obviously Tiffany is on the payroll. She getting a special bonus check. Okay. She getting a special Melody check. Okay. Her and Louis, clearly. Anyways, so, then it switches over to Tiffany and Louis, and they're trying to sell us on this they're the perfect couple nonsense, which is hilarious. Y'all been married 5 minutes. There is no perfect couple who's been married for 5 minutes. I'm sorry. Y'all ain't been through nothing together. And the shadiness that you both exhibit when dealing with your so-called friends is bound to come up in your marriage, and you're going to be shady toward each other, and it ain't gonna work. So y'all should really reevaluate how you decide to deal with people, because I'm not buying the whole we're a perfect couple nonsense. Anyways, so Tiffany is like, yeah, Destiny threatened to drag me through the parking lot. Okay, Karen. She did not threaten to drag you through the parking lot, unless, of course, we missed that in the edit. But I'm pretty sure she just threatened to drag you, which really means that she'll whoop your behind anywhere. Not necessarily this parking lot mess. And it's so funny because you know it's so phony and so fake, because if Louis really thought this woman had threatened to drag his wife through a parking lot, would he really have been all cool and calm the very next time they get together? Because I doubt it. So Tisha goes to Marceau to talk to him about what Tiffany told her. And back to Tiffany from last week. So y'all on a girls' night in Vegas, and you want to bring up the trouble in her marriage that you suspect is in her marriage on her 15-year anniversary? Like, I'm like Destiny. Every time I see her face, I'm like, like, you don't bring any fun. You don't bring any joy, any happiness to the group. You only bring chaos, and I would be so over it so fast. Anyways, so Tisha goes to Marceau to talk to him about this. And she's like, well, yeah, she says I'm insecure and I'm not insecure. And so he begins to tell her that you surprising me with therapy makes me feel like maybe there's a problem in our relationship that I wasn't aware of. And she's like, that I'm insecure? And he's trying to tell her that maybe there's a problem in the actual relationship. And she's so stuck on the idea that someone is calling her insecure, which, by the way, she is, that she can't really hear him. And so he finally did kind of break it down to her. So she admits that comments from other people on the outside make her question their relationship and even question him. And he made a really good point when he's like, okay, none of those people are like in happy marriages or even married. And he's like, these are not people who you would ordinarily take advice from about any other facet of life. So like, why would you be allowing them to place this cancerous seed of doubt into your mind? Like, it really baffles me why she allows this to happen. And she's like, well, sometimes those people are your family and your friends. I'm sorry, but your family and friends don't always want you to be happy. Your family and friends don't always want what's best for you. I hate to break it to you if any of you are believing that. I.e. her mom. Like, her mom just wants to raise hell. Y'all know how happy I was not to see Miss Wanda on this episode or the one from last week. Thank you, OWN Network, because I needed that break. I think most of us needed that break from Miss Wanda. Anyways, so he's like, it makes no sense that you would even be taking advice from these people or allowing them to plant these seeds of doubt. And I really understood that. But then he asked, and here's where he lost me, because then he asked, what can I do? And she said, spend time with us. Like, make me and the kids a priority sometimes. Like, when I'm always traveling with the kids alone. I don't want to always travel with the kids alone. And he's like, that's hard for me. I want to be there, but I have to work. It's my responsibility as a man to do X, Y, Z. And I get it. You want to set your family up. You want to create some wealth that can be passed down through the generations. But you still have to care emotionally and be there emotionally for the family that exists currently today. Those young children need a relationship with you. And your wife needs a relationship with you. I don't think men understand how delicate our egos and our self-esteem and all of that kind of stuff is. And some women will disagree with me, but when it relates to our mate, anybody else on the street can call me beautiful or ugly or whatever. And it doesn't mean anything to me like it means when my husband has something to say, And so she's looking for him to choose to be with her and the kids more often. And I felt like he didn't even put forth an effort. He basically was just like, nah, I got to work. And I told y'all before, my husband works ridiculous hours, like all the freaking time. And he swears because I like to shop. He likes to shop more than I do, but don't say nothing. He swears it's because I like to shop and he needs to make all this money. But sometimes I literally have to say, do not take a job today. Okay. And I appreciate that he respects me enough. He loves me enough. And he also knows that I care about his health and well-being enough to listen when I do that. And then I'm respectful enough to not do it too often. I know he likes to work. I know he likes to make his money. So I'm not going to try to stop you from doing that. But when I see that you're getting tired, I see that you're getting stressed out, I see that you're getting cranky and all of that. Yes, I'm going to tell you to dial it back and take a day off. And I think that she and he need to develop that same type of respect for each other's positions as that comes. But it seems like Marceau is just like, nah, I'm going to work. So that's kind of messed up. So then they talk about this whole surprise, this surprise renewal of the vows. Honey, that was such a bad idea. And I was so glad that she brought it up to him beforehand, before actually doing it, so she could spare herself that embarrassment. But she too goofy to even spare herself the embarrassment. He told you he doesn't want to do this. Why, God? Why? Why does she still try to do it? So she says in her confessional that she's so glad she mentioned it to him because he said he didn't want to do it and she wasn't going to try and force him. Then she carries her little goofy behind over to Tiffany and Lewis's house. From now on, I think we should refer to them as Flotsam and Jetsam, because that's who they act like. They just, all sneevling, like, we making a plan. So she goes over to talk to them. And they, in like 2.2 seconds, convince her that she should still try to do it. I cannot even understand how an adult with 3 children and a 15-year marriage can still be so easily influenced by whoever the hell is standing in front of her? How did they easily convince you to still try to do this commitment, this recommitment? And they played you for a dummy because they knew they've seen Marceau for just a couple weeks, and they already knew that he is not the type of man to be pressured to do anything he doesn't want to do. I could have told you he wasn't about to do it. And so Marceau is in his confessional, and he's like, I guess she thought maybe I wouldn't say no in public, but I'm going to recommit to my commitment not to do it. So now here you are with your group of so-called friends, and you're sitting up here, the one celebrating your 15-year anniversary, but you're asking them if either of them wants to recommit to anything. Of course, they're going to look at you and say, why don't you two do it? So now you got to stand there and look dumb while your husband is like, nope. And Marceau, I do believe he loves her. I believe he loves her and values her. But he is also extremely stubborn and bullheaded, and he is not going to be forced to do something he said he didn't want to do. I believe that if they planned a vow renewal and she told him she wanted to have like a ceremony, then they would. And as a matter of fact, I think they did plan one, and he wants to stick with that plan. So trying to spring this on him and force his hand was just trying to spring this on him and force his hand was, on all accounts, idiotic. Honestly, it was. And Maurice is like, I don't feel bad for T because she should know her husband. And I was thinking the same exact thing. Like, this was so goofy and silly. So then, of course, Flotsam and Jetsam, they decide that they are going to make themselves look like the better couple by taking the opportunity to recommit themselves. Now, they have apparently been married for 11 months. And they have deemed themselves a better couple than all the other couples. And it's funny because Tiffany keeps saying, I really want to establish genuine relationships and genuine friendships with this group. No, you don't. All you do at every turn is talk about how you're better than them. All you do is talk about, I'm more transparent. We're very open. We communicate better, blah, 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 blah. First of all, if you were so transparent and authentic, there would be no need to keep saying it because it wouldn't even be in question. And you can't try to compare your relationship of 11 months to people who have been married 10 and 15 years. Like, you sound ridiculous. And Marceau made a great point when he's like, it's like reheating a meal that you're presently cooking. I hate to say it, but Marceau has grown on me. I love Marceau. Did I just say that? I do. I think I love Marceau. Oh, I'm going to be so hurt when it come out that he really doing stuff. if it ever comes out to be that. I really, really hope not. And I was just being silly. I don't think so, honestly. I think he's cool. I think he's good. I don't think that he is out in these streets like people are trying to say he is. Anyway, so they go ahead and do their little vow renewal, Flotsam and Jetsam. And I'm just so annoyed. Like, I'm thinking, first of all, if I was on that trip, I'd have been like, I'm going to meet up with y'all later. I mean, I would have left them at that wedding chapel. I'd have called me an Uber or got on the MARTA or whatever the little M train is. And I would have went somewhere else up and down the strip, and I'll meet up with y'all later. But I don't want to spend my last day on my Vegas trip in some stupid chapel while y'all argue about who going to recommit themselves. And I definitely wouldn't have stayed to watch Flotsam and Jetsam renew their vows. And they ain't even made it a year. Get out of here. Anyways, so then after that, Melody, she decides that her and Louis are going to team up and just make things even more awkward for her quote unquote friend, Tisha, and keep pressing the matter and trying to put Marceau on the spot. Melody is intelligent. We all have agreed on that. Now, whether you like her or not, we all know that Melody is intelligent. She knew what she was doing, and she knows Marceau well enough to know he wasn't going to bend. So all she did was shine an even brighter light on Tisha and Marceau's relationship and make Tisha look foolish. And I was happy for Tisha that she squashed it. And she's like, I can speak for myself. I'm fine. And then because Melody didn't get the moment of drama that she was looking for, after everything is over and they're leaving the chapel, she goes to pull Tisha aside again. And he just should have did this. And he should be able to profess his love for you, blah, 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 blah. And I'm seeing Tisha, okay, she about to fall for whatever Melody got to say again. Stop listening to these other folks about your relationship and then taking BS and drama and misery back to your husband. Please stop doing that. So they were on the bus, and I don't remember if this was on the way to the chapel or the restaurant, but they start talking about some wardrobe malfunction that I guess Destiny had. And Destiny, I guess, has added Maurice to the list of people who she just knows wants her. And she's like, Kimmy and Maurice are just way too hyped talking about my lap dance. And Maurice just sitting there with this big smile on his face. Oh, Destiny, it must feel great to just know that everybody and their husband and their wife wants you and their son. You cute girl, but relax. It's not that serious. I like Destiny though, but she really does believe that everybody is into her. So then they go to dinner, and this is their last night, their last dinner of the trip. And Kimmy, I think it was, mentioned something about the fact that they had celebrated their 10-year anniversary together, and her and Maurice's wedding together, and Melody said something to the fact of she's sorry that they won't be able to celebrate more anniversaries for the host. And so Martell is like, yes, you will, because I'm going to remarry. I'm going to marry somebody. It might be Melody. You never know. And Melody's like, I couldn't blame her for making them faces, but I'm just like, honey, no, like Martell, nobody's about to marry you right now. Anyways, so he starts talking about how I did a lot of things in my marriage right. And it just kills me how he's not able to learn. He still doesn't understand. It doesn't matter if you did millions of things right in the relationship, if you did one thing that broke her heart. The rest doesn't matter. If you did one thing that broke her heart, and then you layered on with that with continued disrespect, then you layered on with that with lies and accusations, then you layered on with that additional disrespect, talking about her mother. Also, I mean, sir, there's really no coming back from that unless Melody is a whole fool. And I'm disgusted by the fact that Kimmy and Tisha at any point were trying to push her back in that direction. Never would I ever send someone I love back into a relationship like that. I don't care. It never would happen. Never would happen with the folks I love. Anyways, Marceau, who is becoming one of my favorites, he made a great point. And he's like, the problem is that Martell kept comparing himself to other men. And I'm like, bingo, yes. All the time, he would be like, other men don't do this with their kids. And, other men cheat like boom, 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 boom. Sir, if other men cheat 100 times a month and you cheat 10 times a month, guess what? I still don't want you. Like, it doesn't matter that you did it less than someone else. The comparison doesn't matter. What other men are doing in their relationships doesn't matter. What matters is what Melody is willing to tolerate in her relationship. Sir, it's really not that complicated. Anyway, so Martell said something about like cheers to happiness, and Melody was like, I'm sorry, I stutter all through the Love and Marriage Huntsville recaps because it's just too many M's. But Melody is like, he don't want me to be happy. And she says that he told her she hopes he gets with some man who breaks her heart. And I'm just like, she already did, jackass. Oh, he works my nerves in them tiny clothes. He really, really aggravates me just as much as Tiffany. No, Tiffany takes the cake. I'm not going to put nobody with Tiffany. She absolutely takes the cake. Anyways, so then they move on, and Martell is like, okay, so while we talking about fellas, let me also address this thing with fellas pillow talking with their wives, taking things that I said in an all male setting, back home to their wives. And once again, Lewis uses that as an opportunity to pretend that his relationship is simply better. Because Marceau doesn't want you to take guy talk back to your wife, it all of a sudden means that him and his wife are keeping secrets and they're not practicing transparency. Boy, get out of here. And then he at one point says, I don't tell my wife everything either. But then when they get in the confessional, he's like, me and my wife don't have any secrets. If you don't tell her everything, then y'all have secrets. And quite frankly, every relationship needs a little bit of a secrecy, a little privacy. Sometimes it is being diplomatic to not just blurt everything out to your spouse, things that can be hurtful. Like, no, that doesn't make you a better couple. You and your little 5-minute marriage, y'all are not the experts. Oh, and did y'all catch that little, it wasn't even really a scene. It was the audio before the scene where she's like, just so you know, I need you to iron my dress, peasant. And he's like, I will make that happen when time allows. What? I guess they were trying to show us that they're such a wonderful couple that he's willing to iron her dress for her. I didn't understand the language they were using. I didn't understand why it sounded like she was ordering up a task from her assistant. It just, I don't know. Everything about them grosses me out. I don't like them, if I haven't made that clear. Anyway, so that's all I got for this week. I will say, even though I didn't get to chat with you guys last week, when it comes to Melody versus Martell, y'all already know I can't stand Martell, but Melody initiating these arguments is getting on my nerves. And I know a lot of y'all disagree with me on that. And you feel like because he cheated on her, because he was disrespectful and all of that, he deserves it all. But again, my thing is be a joy to be around. And if you're going to come on someone else's vacation, don't incite all this anger and hostility and have it impact everybody else. When y'all get back to Huntsville, start all the arguments you want, but don't ruin the rest of these folks' trips. Anyways, the trip is over now, so it really is all I got. Thanks so much for watching. I am going to get back to being consistent, even though I'm working. If it matters to y'all, I swear I'll be trying. No more excuses, though. I'm here. I haven't left you. I love you.